Nowadays, influencers are pushing everything from fashion, beauty, lifestyle to food, fitness, and technology. And with influencer marketing getting so popular, and influencers have been branching out into various categories itself, like nano influencers, micro influencers, and macro influencers. So this makes engaging the correct influencers an increasingly harder task for businesses. But not to worry, here are some guidelines that you can follow to engage correct influencers for your business. So first of all, you need to understand the differences between the types of influencers, right? So I'll group them into 4 main categories: super nano influencers, micro influencers, and macro influencers. How we differentiate them is to look at the number of followers the influencers have. Generally, super nano influencers will not have more than 500 followers, and nano influencers will have perhaps 500 to 10,000. Meanwhile, the number of followers that micro influencers have typically ranges from 10k to 100k, and macro influencers will have more than 100k followers, maybe even to millions, right? So why I need you to be clear of this distinction is because your whole influencer marketing strategy will depend on both the type of influencers you are able to engage and also the scale of your business. So for example, it's almost impossible for a newly set up Amazon business to engage macro influencers to promote their products, because macro influencers normally won't be interested in such a small business. So similarly, a very well-known brand won't think of engaging nano influencers to help them promote their products also, because that means lesser outreach for them and they don't want this kind of things, right? So depending on the current status of your business, there are different types of influencers you can reach out to. And you have no prior influencer marketing experience, I'll advise you to start small. So work with super nano influencers or nano influencers first and eventually work your way up. And here's why I say this. First of all, super nano influencers and nano influencers generally have higher engagement rates with their audiences, and this is because lower number of followers itself. So these influencers know their followers on a personal level, and they are able to interact closely with them. So you will not be surprised to find that majority of these influencers followers are their family members or friends and maybe acquaintances in their own town. So when working with such influencers, you'll notice that these influencers usually are not asking for any monetary remuneration, right? So they are working with you mostly due to the genuine interest of your products, and they want to let their audiences know that your products exist, and they want to give value to their small communities themselves too. And if your products are solid, their followers will in turn become loyal fans of your brand, and they will be willing to give you honest feedback about your products. Now, this is very important for you because at this stage you will need feedback to know how you can improve your products. And once you have shown that you're accepting of their feedback, your brand will gain even more trust. And these influencers and their communities will be able to give you positive testimonials, which will make up the initial social proof for your brand and help to build up a good reputation itself. And once you have collected enough social proof, you can then consider moving on to work with the next type of influencer, the micro influencers. And at this stage, your business should be more or less stable and perhaps earning a few thousands of dollars of profits every month. And the direction of your influencer marketing strategy now should be to let more people know about your brand and expand its exposure beyond small communities. Reaching out to micro influencers now will be a wise move. But take note that micro influencers usually would like to know if your brand already have some kind of social proof. So the logic is simple. As micro influencers, they have bigger followings and they need more efforts to maintain their followers' trust, and their words hold weight, and they'll lose even more followers than super nano influencers and nano influencers for promoting a brand with products that don't work well. So as such, they definitely will avoid working with brands that they have never heard of or that seem untrustworthy to them. So the initial social proof that you collected from super nano influencers and nano influencers will therefore be the main factor for micro influencers to decide if they want to work with you. So the more social proof that you have, the higher chances they are willing to work with you. So in fact, some of the micro influencers will quote you their expected pay according to the amount of social proof that you have. But of course, you also have the authority to decide how how much you want to pay them. So generally speaking, my budget for engaging micro-influencers start at $200 per post, and depending on the collaboration terms, you can work upwards from there. And you can listen to podcast episode 37, How Can We Collaborate with Influencers, on WA Academy's website for more details about the types of collaboration that you can have with influencers. So I'll be putting the link to this podcast in the video description below also, so you can check it out for yourself if you're interested. So in any case, after you have established a good reputation for working with micro-influencers, it's finally time for you to think about working with macro-influencers. So by then, your brand should be quite well known in the industry already. So you have a few star products that are recognized for their functionality and effectiveness in solving problems your customers face. So in terms of influencer marketing, you are striking up a long-term collaboration with some micro-influencers, and they are your loyal partners. So some of these influencers may then recommend you to trusted macro influencers, or you can reach out to the macro influencers by yourself. And you can find these macro influencers on the website that I mentioned in my previous YouTube video, the best places to find influencers for your Amazon business in 2021. So if you have no idea where to find them, check it out for more details at the link above. Alright, so the video is here. Okay, so do take note that if you are approaching macro influencers by yourself, so it's best to tell them that you're in a long-term collaboration with certain micro influencers, or show them testimonials from previous micro influencers that you have worked with. So this is to gain the trust of macro influencers, because just like micro influencers, they will want to know that your brand is trustworthy. So nothing beats knowing that a brand has a good reputation among fellow influencers. And when you're working with macro influencers, do not be measly in your fees to them. So from my experience, the minimum fees that I paid for engaging macro influencers stand anything between $1,000 to $5,000 for them to do a shout out for my brand. And please don't think that such fees are ridiculous, because as these influencers are exposing your brand to more than 100,000 or even millions of people, so if you think that it's like the entire population of Singapore itself, so can you imagine the entire Singapore population knowing your brand and your products? And once more people get to know your brand and your products, and the chances of your products getting sold will increase, bringing you more profits from this business itself. So in summary, the best influencer marketing strategy will be to work your way up from super nano influencers to macro influencers. So don't be in a hurry to skip tiers. Any experienced business owner will tell you that influencer marketing is an ongoing process that requires time, effort, and constant revision. And along the way, you'll definitely meet obstacles, maybe in your communication with your influencers, or finding out their work is not up to standard, right? But if you show your sincerity and keep at this process, I'm sure that you'll find the best way to engage influencers for your business. And this will be the end of this video. I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.